Almost 1 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Everyone's had a chance to review the agenda.
Yep.
Have a mover and a seconder for that, please. Thank you, Paula. And it's moved, seconded by Sally. Be it resolved that we approve the agenda for today's meeting, September the 14th. Do we have any conflicts of declarations of conflict of interest?
Nope.
Good. The minutes of the previous meeting.
I can move.
Thank you, Sally. Paula, second. Okay. Short minutes. Any business arising?
No, very short meeting.
Was it 9 minutes, right?
I think that was a record.
Hey, just watch us today. No public presentations, so we can go on to the administrative reports. 7.1. Ken, the Director of Protective Services.
Good afternoon. So the agenda isn't as long as it looks because it got doubled up, if anybody noticed that. So we had some issues with eScribe and we had 2 reports that it picked up. So does anybody have any questions on the fire calls we had?
Oh, not fire calls. No, sorry.
Okay. So our speed signs.
Ken,
Sorry,
I just noticed that you've had a lot of false alarms. Anything that can be done to prevent that?
Well, some of them were caused by hydro when we had the hydro outage, and when they come back on, sometimes an alarm will go off. We do issue, as per our bylaw, the first alarm is free.
Right.
Then if you don't get the problem corrected, it's a $50 charge. If you don't get it corrected again, it's a $100 charge, and then it works its way up to $200. These were all different areas. We always get alarm activations because what happens is people will call us, especially some of them that are later, their alarms are chirping, which is just the battery dead or the alarm has to be replaced. So I do have some information on that I will be sending out for Fire Prevention Week to let them know what a beep or a chirp means. So we may have less calls that way.
And I was thinking too, maybe for the Fire Prevention Week, just a reminder to maybe change your smoke alarm. If it's like what, 10 years is usually the maximum, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. There's a replaced by date on the back of the alarm. So that will be going out also with Fire Prevention Week.
Thank you, Ken.
Oh, no problem. Our speed signs. So the first month was the east and west end. Again, our east end is showing high volume. We did pick up a few more from the west end for the speeding, but not as much for as we have for the east end. We did move one of them. We left the one at the east end down by the police station. So that one's still there. We're trying to slow people down. We did move one to Woodward Avenue. And where it is, it's on the straight stretch underneath the, or below the Graveyard Hill. So almost across from Daryl McLean's house. That's where it turns 50. And as you can see, we're getting 89% of the people that are speeding there. It's a hard area where it's turning to 50 because you're coming down that long hill. You're just coming up again. You're coming down another hill. And so we are getting quite a bit of speeding there. The speed sign has to be adjusted. We talked about that at our police services meeting this morning. It's not registering far enough up the road. So either we're gonna have to reposition or move the sign altogether to a better area. So I do have the company that we're gonna go and adjust it. So I think it's either gonna have to be pivoted up a little bit so it catches further up the road. I think it's that dip that's there also that's causing the issues. Because when you hit it now, it's about I'm gonna stretch it out maybe 20 feet in front of the sign, that all of a sudden it pops up with your speed limit, and you don't have enough time to register what it is. So we will be adjusting that. So the stats that we're getting are correct, but we're not giving enough of a warning to the people that are driving so that they can see it. So we will adjust that. I don't know what else we can do to slow people down except for using the signs, and hopefully that at some point they will slow down. It did work at the other end of town. We're not getting any more complaints, but then again, you have a 70, you're coming on to a 90, and by the time you get up to 90, you're back down to the 70. So I think that's where we're not getting as many transport speeding, because they don't have time to work their speed up. So we will continue to try and slow people down with the speed signs.
Ken,
Paula?
I'm pretty sure once the people get to that sign and it's telling you to slow down, then they are slowing down. So probably by the time they are going in front of like where Cottage Country Market was or whatever, they at that point they are probably going the speed limit. Because I mean, I've been caught there myself, like you're not even really paying attention, and all of a sudden it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
actually working on the highway too, because when I'm
Mhm.
picking up the data from the sign,
mhm,
you do
Mhm.
see a lot of brake lights coming on.
yeah, yeah,
when
So I'm
they
pretty
go back
sure-
Too fast.
yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty sure it's doing what we want it to do. It's just not, like I said this morning, just not quite, it doesn't work the same way as what it did out in the other way, and I think it's because of the dip there, so
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
will get that figured out.
sounds good.
And I have concerns about the Woodward one as well because of the condition of the road, pedestrians, so on out there. Like this information does go to the police department.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
And I will be sending them the complete data that I picked up, so it'll give them the count of each vehicle that are going through every 30 minutes.
Okay.
So it'll tell them if there was 10 vehicles that went through, 8 of them were speeding for each day, every half hour
Yeah, for the time of day too.
for the time of day. So they will have that data so that they'll know when the worst times are.
Yes.
So I did something a little different with the complaints this time, instead of
Yeah, I
just
like
giving you
that,
the month. Yeah, I did the complete breakdown. As I'm working with the system, I'm finding new ways to bring up more reports. I kind of like this one because it breaks it down to each kind that we've had. So I might try and keep using this one every time. I'm trying to get the other down, because as I get them in, I'll put the new categories in. So where you see under other finance, that kind of stuff, there's a bunch of, where were the others? Now, of course, I looked at it earlier and I can't find the others, but there are a bunch that are listed as others, so I'm trying to get those straightened out, so you'll start to see more categories. Like I've been trying to break down the animal services and the bylaw by each kind of bylaw that it's affecting.
Yeah.
Same thing with Parks and Rec, public works. So instead of just being a public works issue, then we know exactly if it's a pothole, if it's school light, sidewalks, we can break it down that way. So what it shows, we had so far this year, we've had 303 complaints. And as of this morning, there was only 6, but they're all from this month so far that are open. So we have closed pretty well everyone that we've had so far. Now, when you see, if you look at Public Works, the trees, there's 11 complaints there. The easy, I think on page 11, near the
Mhm.
top,
Mhm,
that was all the cemetery.
mhm.
So we got 11 complaints on it. So that's why it brings that number up so high. So we get 5 one day. At least it gives us an idea of where we need to work and what kind of complaints that we are getting to deal with. Is
So
anybody have-
Ken, the 43 concerns for Parks and Rec, eventually that'll be broken down into categories as well.
Yes, I'm gonna
Okay.
break it down to either if it's grass, trees. See, when people put put them into the system, they just pick Parks and Rec. They don't go to the next line of bringing it down. So I try and add them to it, so we'll have a better breakdown. Because some of that could be dock issues, some of that could be grass, some of it could be anything that public work or Parks and Recs deal with.
Mhm.
So I do
Yeah,
have
I really
a-
really like the new format. Like, it gives us more information. I was really happy to see that when I read through it.
Yeah, and they are adding something. I think it's Thursday. I have a webinar with them. I'll be able to pull off more information. So I'm hoping that every time they do something new, we get to use this. There's the other on page 10. There's 26 others. That's what I'm trying to get rid of. I don't want to see any more others. I
Oh,
want to break
other.
them down to exactly where they go.
Mhm.
So
Because I
try
see
and
it-
do it every morning, every night before we leave to see what we've got for complaints. And then I try and break them down if we need to add something.
That's a great idea.
Mhm. Plus, just above that too, it says other administration. Be curious to know like what types of things.
It's usually questions that, well, I'm trying to think of what one, if we have a complaint or somebody for the park, that probably went into the administration because it's administration that's answering it.
Mm,
So that's another one that I got to break down
mhm,
what the actual issue is.
mhm.
I try to be sensitive with the administration one because some of the stuff that comes in is like a little sensitive, like through Facebook or whatever, however they're giving us the complaints.
Mhm.
But that's another one. Other and administration, well, pretty well all of them, I'm trying to break down to exactly what it is.
Right.
The list is getting longer, which is good. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping to break it down as the best we can. And then you've got our bylaw report. So he's been
That's good.
keeping pretty busy. We've been changing a lot of signs. If you want, the Main Street signs will be put up. I'm off topic here for a second.
Mhm, mhm.
Will be put up next week. We've got them in. If you want to see what they look like, we had put a stop sign up yesterday in
Oh.
front of the LCBO. So we did put one up and you'll be able to see what they're going to look like. They're nice. They look really good. So those will be completed next week. That's what it's on our agenda to finish. Then page 14, we go back to the report that was done on 7/28, which is the same report. So we can skip through that. Right to the bylaw, I think, is the next thing.
Yeah, 7.2
Yeah, the bylaw for the nuisance bylaw.
nuisance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read through that I think that's the first time I've seen bodily emissions actually defined in a bylaw. This is wonderful stuff.
Actually, I'm on training for the next 2 days, and Hamilton just passed their nuisance bylaw. And that exact comment came up during the thing. So
I'll make the comment here, not on the council meeting.
no, okay.
Libby.
I don't want to have to answer that one of what
No.
it is. So what we tried to do with this bylaw is put everything in one so we can have our provincial set fines in one. We were missing a lot of items, like going around our boundaries, going into when we put up our barriers
Mhm.
on Bloom Camp Road. People are driving around it,
Mm,
causing more damage to the road. Well, now we can charge them. If a four-wheeler goes through the Young Fox Trail
Yes.
and we catch them at either end, we can now charge them. Because we have barriers there, they are going around them. And now we will have a way to charge them. We've got some in here for littering, to make it easier. We've got stuff in here for certain companies that are letting stuff blow off their yards. well, they can be charged and made to clean it up. So it's something that's tightening everything up for us. And with the set fines, if the person doesn't pay it, it goes right on their taxes. So when and if the bylaw goes through on council, we'll send the set fines in, which take about a month. And then we'll be able to start charging.
Sally?
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question when you're talking about littering, and I ride my bike up to Lake Matinenda and I see a lot of litter along the road. I know that's a highway. Can you still charge them under the municipality?
I believe we can, but I think more it's towards the OPP that can charge with that.
Okay,
But through here, if they're littering onto town property off of that road, we can charge them on that one.
okay. It's
So
mainly
any-
along, it's mainly along the side of the highway that I'm seeing, you know, the cups and food and whatnot.
Yeah, and driving the, I call it the truck route on the corners going up, there's always stuff thrown out there constantly. We're constantly picking stuff up and it's always thrown there.
Yeah.
So that's where we will be able to charge people.
Okay, just have to catch them.
That's the problem. When you sit out and look for them, there's nobody that comes around. And as soon as you leave, well, then the garbage is all there. But at least this will give us something that we can actually charge somebody with.
Great.
And I was wondering about the scale of the fines. For example, bodily emission, $205, but a lewd act, $125. Like, is there any reason why, how can I put this politely? It's more expensive to spit on the sidewalk than it is to expose myself on Woodward Avenue.
Well, bodily emissions, spitting on the sidewalk, with COVID, with everything else that can be carried in your saliva. We didn't just come up with these numbers. These are the set fines by the, that have been set by other municipalities. This is the highest ones that you can do. So we wanted to stay the same as everyone else because it'll be easier for us to get this passed.
Okay.
Other than that, I honestly, I can't answer that because we just took the set fines that
Sure.
there was 4 other bylaws that we looked at and they were all the same. And I mean, we made them big enough that you do it once, you're not going to do it again. If we do these little $50 fines, $10 fines, people don't care. But when we get to fine people with these, they won't do it again.
Yeah, are any more questions about the bylaw?
Looks good.
So we don't have a motion here, but we're just going to be referred to council.
Yes?
Okay.
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 So the next one is the bylaw again.
There is, what are we looking
It's
at?
the same bylaw. On I went onto the website to download mine, so mine might be different than yours.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there is only one bylaw
Mhm.
on the agenda. Okay, I have 2 on mine for some reason.
Okay, no, we've only
Okay,
got one.
good.
I
Then
think
you
they may
guys
have,
are- Perfect.
corrected this maybe.
Okay, perfect. So then we're at the Main Street Recovery Act, I guess, is the next.
Yes, the letter from the Minister Correspondence.
Yeah.
Any questions about that letter? And now we have the letter from with regard to emergency management.
Uh,
Missing that one.
Go ahead, Sal. Sorry.
Yes, I just wondered through you, Mr. Chair, if there has been a date or a plan to exercise the requirements for 2021 for the CPA.
And I'll ask Ken to answer that question.
I don't have that one on mine.
Yeah, it's essentially telling municipalities that we need to do a mock
Oh, yes, we will.
a mock emergency.
Yeah.
And I just wondered if plans are underway to actually have one for our municipality.
Yes, they are, because by law, we have to do one every year, except for last year because of the pandemic. So I am working on one right now, hopefully for next month, that we will send our invite out, and I'm hoping to use that new smart screen in the council chambers to put the incident on there, and we can do all of our writing on where we want to set things up, how we have to detour traffic, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. I look forward to taking part in that.
Yep, you will be.
I know.
Thank you, Ken. We don't have an addendum. So I guess we can move on to adjournment.
I do have one
Oh,
other item
pardon?
to,
Sorry, Ken, go
I
ahead.
just wanted to bring you up to date. Our new truck, the new tanker pumper,
Mhm.
we will be going down on September 24th to pick it up. So that's next Friday.
Good.
We will get our training on Friday night while we're there. And then we'll come back on the Saturday with it. And then we'll put it into service. That's one
Very
truck
good.
down.
That's exciting.
Yep. And then we have a working meeting on Friday night to look at the aerial information, so we can bring that back
Okay,
with us also.
okay.
We are very excited about the new trucks.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sally?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I am violating the agenda by bringing in an infomercial on an unrelated topic. Would you be okay if I did that?
If I have the permission of the other committee members, it doesn't bother me.
Sure.
Is this advertising for the committee, is it?
It's advertising for Tim Hortons and the North Shore Health Network. I just wanted to let
Oh,
everyone
small
know.
cookies?
Small cookies.
Smile cookies, yes, and I will be making them along with the CEO of the North Shore Health Network tomorrow between 9:30 and 10:30. So I hope everyone will come and get their smile cookie.
Very good.
I think that was an appropriate commercial for us.
Mhm, mhm.
And I kept it less than a minute.
Yeah.
did. Shorter than the political ads on television these days. That's much better. So to motion to adjourn, moved by and seconded by?
Can move
Paul
it.
moved, seconded by Sally.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Very good.
And thank you, everyone.
All right.
Thank you.